back to the Comic Lounge. As my previous video, as I explained, I was going to split this haul up into two videos. The first one, which you had just, hopefully you had watched, focused on most of my DC Comics pickups. This one, as I stated, is going to be focusing on my Marvel Comics pickups, and this is definitely going to be a very interesting one because of the bulk of this right here, which I can show you real quick, is going to have at least comics from one particular character, and it's one I just went very hog wild on, especially given the fact that now there will be officially a production, at least pre-production, I guess you can say. There is a script being written out, but they're gonna this time move forward with this particular comic book character. And given that this character, so far, the comics are, with the exception of number one, it's a fairly affordable series, and so the shop here in town had some in its back issue bins. However, I also lucked into at least a lot for this character, so I kind of just drowned on a bit. So either way, this is going to be mostly Bronze Age Marvel comics. Barely any copper. If there is, it's going to be very much the beginning of the Copper Age. But then again, many people say the Bronze ended by, 1986? Maybe 85? For me, I feel like by the time of 1982, you're starting to really get into more of the copper because of, well, the price and storylines really start getting a little more, even more darker, and it becomes more modern. Either way, let's get into it. Since the last one I'd shown Swamp Thing, I might as well show another Man-Thing. Since most recently I lucked into a copy of Adventure in the Fear number 15. Here's at least one other from his original ongoing series. This is issue number 16. I believe this was $7, but it was a fairly good, decent shape. I mean, it's not near mint, but still, for the price and for the condition, yeah, I'll go along with it. I'll grab it. And again, love some Gil Kane cover art, and of course, I do like me some Man-Thing. It's really cool. These two, there's going to be a character that will show up in my mailbox here soon. That, because I mentioned I'm going to do a whole bunch of reading by September or something on a lot of street level characters, and I've been wanting to get a couple more of these. Since, again, these are usually $3 at the shop. But again, this is where I kind of bring up, this could be considered really early Copper Age, but again, it does get classified as very late Bronze. But it's issue 112 of Hands of Shang-Chi, Master Kung Fu. If I might throw in a picture, but this is actually considered a key because of, and I do remember, I mean, I've always been a big horror movie guy to begin with, and as a kid, I kind of vaguely remember seeing this cover to begin with in a particular horror movie, and it was, of course, Friday the 13th Part 3, which was technically Part 3D, where in the convenience store, and I know what scene it leads into. Anyways, they go into the convenience store, especially, I forgot the guy, but again, the one where Jason gets the hockey mask from. In the background, there's a rack of comic books. This is one of the books that was in the background, and I think there's also like a Warlord and was it Ghosts? I think that was also in there, an issue of Ghosts. But there are two Master Kung Fu's, but this is one of them, and they had it at the shop, and it is a newsie. This is definitely more closer to like a 4.5, maybe even a 4. But you know what? I decided to bite the bullet again for $3. Can't go wrong. There you have it. Just a great Master of Kung Fu. So yeah, you might see the screenshot or the image, whatever, on the top of where the scene is, that you will see this particular Master Kung Fu book. But that's usually why it gets considered a key, because it gets recognized. And lastly, here is the other Master Kung Fu that I picked up, because again I picked up two, because they were all $3. This is issue 117. Pretty much close to the end of Gene Day's time on the title, literally, because he would, by issue 120, that'd be his final ever, one of his, the most final publication, because he would die afterwards, he would pass away. But again, this is still more closer to more of a mid-grade, still decent, still, gotta love that. That is some great Gene Day artwork. Really, really awesome. I love that. Alright, so here we go. Let's get into the character that is going to pretty much take up the bulk of this video. But I'll see if I can go through it. But if you've seen the news, they're going to go forward with the Nova character. And so at the shop they had at least plenty from the original first series. I didn't try and pick up number 1. I'll wait and see what happens, but I've been at least trying to eye a more affordable copy of that book. But here we have this number 6. So this is Nova issue number 6. This is the first appearance of Sphinx, which is Anath Namrut. I hope I pronounced that correctly. But this is the first appearance of him, and he would go on to even face the Fantastic Four, given that Marv Wolfman, who is the creator of this character and was the writer throughout the entire series, was also writing the Fantastic Four during this time. So there is definitely some sort of crossover in between these titles. But either way, this is the first appearance for Sphinx, at least the first one. Also, this is also, according to Geek Collectors, this is also the first appearance of a character named Mega Man. Not that Mega Man, by the way. Not that one. So next up, from the shop as well, here is issue number 10. Again, maybe not a perfect copy, but still, for the price that I paid, again, not bad. Especially compared to like eBay. This one, again, I did pretty decent. So, still pretty decent. I mean, the colors and all that pop. Alright. Now, going from number 10, I'm now going to the next numbers afterwards. These are the ones I actually bought off of eBay. This was actually a lot of 3 comics. Someone was selling at least issues number 11, 12, and 13 all together. He stated they were mid-grades, and when I did get them in, most of them at least lived up to being mid-grades. However, there's at least one that I believe will drop the value to being more closer to a low grade. And I'll eventually get to that comic. However, given that one of these is, well, with a particular famous character, since what number 12 is, basically continues into this particular big character's title. Thankfully, he had a copy, a decent copy to begin with, on his shop for sale. I threw it in there, and so here we go. So, number 11. And this is really one of the ones that I can find that are really kind of keeps it at least, not really, at least maybe under like a 7 to maybe a 6.5 in my opinion. But because again, there is also a couple staple issues, mostly bordering in the rusty. But again, still, for the fact that how long it had been preserved, I think it's okay. I mean, sure, that might be fixed. That can usually be cleaned up to begin with. Either way, though, for the fact is, I looked into, inside the book. Thankfully, nothing got to being very severe where the rust really hits, where the pages kind of break, where you finally see where the staples are in the middle of the book. thankfully none of that is there, so it's really not that, it didn't get that bad. Either way, though, there is number 11, and here we go. Speaking of that, number 12, the first meeting between Nova and Spider-Man, and also the first appearance of Photon, and I'll eventually get to showing the first cover appearance for that character. So here we have it. This is, again, obviously with that issue right there, which looked like this was rubbing up against another comic book in a, when it was being stored for all these years, whatever collection he inherited, obviously that had to be the cause of it. But other than that, it's a decent looking copy. Again, it probably is pushing to being more of a into the mid-grade category, but it still kind of keeps it, I think, a bit under. It's not really low grade, but it's definitely at least above a low grade, but really keeping it with those sort of under mid-grade condition-wise, So there you have it. And finally, here it is, because it continues into Amazing Spider-Man 171. And I'm going to show you a picture of this because of when I had, finally when I bought it, I noticed there was some looked like it almost had their, like, tape or even some sort of, I don't know, almost made it look like that this part where where the price is, that it looked like that it might have been torn, whatever, but it really didn't look like that. So I don't know what was on, like, it was like, again, something was stuck onto there. Well, thankfully, when I did get the book in, I kind of started, normally scraping a little bit of it or like pulling at it. It was very easy, so it might have just been something very small. I don't know why the guy didn't do it himself. I guess he just was afraid that it was probably something that was stuck to the comic, and then it probably would create tearing. Whatever it was not that severe. So it didn't really do much at all. So thankfully for that. Again, for the condition and compared to others I've seen online, especially for the price that the guy was selling this, you know what? This was not a bad buy at all. So again, this is definitely above a low grade, but still maybe below a mid grade. It's in that, I got 4.0, 4.5 at best. Still nice to have, though. It is a tough book to find in at least a really good mid grade or even a high grade. It's a tricky book to have it, though. Again, there's Photon right there, and again, character didn't last for too long, but he is at least something connected to Nova. You have it. And finally, here we have the last of of that collection I bought online for the Nova books. It is number 13, which is the first appearance of the Crime Buster, I believe. Is it Crime Buster? Yeah, right there. And it's also the first battle, with the Sandman. But the reason this is the book that has the problem, I feel, that would really push it to be more of a low grade, because on the outside, it looks fine. It definitely looks like it should be a good mid grade, but right there, that small little hole is still, for the price, for around $6.78 for all three of the books, generally making these more close to like $2. You get what you pay for, right? Still, not mad at all grabbing these because besides that, it's still fine. It's just, that's all. But still, these are not gradable copies. These are all like copies that are mostly meant to be read. So they're like glorified readers. But some of those could be fixed. Not this one. This is pretty much a glorified reader's copy now. Still, it's cool to have. And that book continues into, number 14. This is actually the first Nova book I ever purchased from the shop locally. And this one is just really cool. Again, a continuation with the fight with the Sandman, but it's also a really cool George Perez cover, which makes it maybe the first time that George Perez ever did a cover for a book written by Marv Wolfman. For all you new Teen Titans fans, including me and whatever, Really awesome to kind of bring that one up. Little factoid. Number 14, Nova. And finally, the end off. Here's a couple of pretty cool Captain Marvel issues. So we have is number 49. Really cool Al Milgrom cover art with Ronan the Accuser. And this is definitely more of a pretty good mid-grade. And it's a decent mid-grade for this one. Again, paid at least close to $5. Not bad. Not bad at all. And lastly, we have number 56. The reason I went with this one, because this is actually the beginning around, or at least around the beginning of Pat Broderick's time on the title. And obviously for me, ever since really liking his art in like the Captain Atom books for, DC Comics. Yeah, I like me some early Pat Broderick, so this is really awesome. Again, Gil Kane is the cover artist with Bill Wycheck as the inker. Really, really cool. I'm definitely looking for a copy number 55, but there you have it. Number 56 of Captain Marvel. There you have it, folks. There's pretty much mostly all Bronze Age Marvel comics to show you. I will definitely do a third video when I'm going to show mostly nothing but online pickups. And there's definitely some really cool ones in there. And I think you don't want to miss that one. So catch that one next week. So until then, if you have any thoughts on any of the books I showed, you can leave them all down in the comment section below. However, if you want to keep up with what I show on this channel, not only will it do me great, but it will do you great. Because once you hit that subscribe button, you will never miss out on any brand new content from me. So until then, keep on reading, keep on hunting, and just keep on collecting comic books, everybody. Just enjoy your hobby.